trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. BLM Brendan Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, making the rounds over the weekend on the Sunday talkies, as did Governor Spalding, a.k.a. Jelly Belly, a.k.a. Pritzker. Brandon Johnson on MSNBC declaring that Trump has declared war on the poor.
There are a number of people, including the President of the United States of America, that have decided to declare war on poor people and on working people across the country. And this raid that you are describing was on the south side of Chicago, where black folks live. And it is evident that this is not about safety. It's not about deportation. This is about the President of the United States of America and his kind that are looking to stoke and foment chaos and fear within our streets of cities across America. But we're going to remain firm, and we're going to fight back against this tyranny.
Tyranny, yeah. He went on, and we'll hear a little bit more from Brandon Johnson momentarily. But since this raid on the South Shore apartment building has been used as a talking point for the Brandon Johnsons of the world. Over the weekend, CW Chicago reported social media videos posted roughly 3 weeks before the raid showed extensive flooding on the building's first and second floors, doors kicked off their frames, squatters occupying abandoned units, and tenants running extension cords down hallways and along the exterior to reach working outlets. Building inspectors visited the property 2 weeks before the raid, so they were aware that people, including children, were living in unsafe and unhealthy conditions in a building plagued by illegal activity. The way this was presented by BLM Brandon and Pritzker, who tweeted about this and used this as the basis to call ICE, 20,000 ICE agents racist, because that's what he said. ICE is just targeting non-whites for no reason. This was a den of iniquity. The South Shore apartment building. It was like, oh, these are well-appointed apartments and the ICE is just going around willy-nilly knocking down doors and rousting people. No. All the people that are so committed to being the providers for the poor and working people allow this den of iniquity to go undealt with, as said here in the reporting and the videos that support it, an unsafe environment, unhealthy environment. The Great Vanguard, BLM Brandon and company. But you know what they're doing. You know he's got to go back to it. If it's not Nixon, he goes all the way back. What's happening now with this ICE surge in resources in Chicago, backed by 300 Illinois National Guardsmen, because Chicago police have been told to stand down when federal law enforcement officers are under siege by these organic, mostly peaceful protesters. Punchline. Relitigating the Civil War. Seriously.
They are completely delusional right now. And what they are promulgating in this particular moment are not just unconstitutional measures, but they're dangerous and reckless, and it's antithetical to who we are as a nation. You know, what I've done in the city of Chicago, I've signed 2 sweeping executive orders, one to make sure that the residents of this city know their rights and that there's real clear engagement with our law enforcement, not wearing any masks, being identifiable, and being also very clear about protecting the rights of all of our residents. The second thing is we made sure that we're protecting the right to protest. This is something that's fundamental to our democracy. The peacefully assembling of individuals to petition their government to do right by the people of this nation is something that is fundamental, and it's part of the bedrock of our nation. When it comes to black, brown, white, Asian, working class people, this president has not only been a disappointment, but again, he has worked hard to relitigate the Civil War, and we're not going to stand for it.
I don't even know what that means. Relitigate the Civil War. I honestly, I don't know what he's referencing, but neither does he, so I'm in good company. relitigating the Civil War. By the way, we did not need an executive order from the mayor of Chicago to reestablish people's First Amendment rights to lodge grievances with their government. But hey, thanks, BLM. Tammy Duckworth got into the act, too. I don't want to leave her out of this. She said this.
Have you seen any evidence of what Stephen Miller is describing here in terms of organization and targeting of federal agents?
No, not at all. It's simply not happening.
It's not happening. We had it happen at least twice this weekend with individuals who use their vehicles as weapons targeting ICE officers. This weekend, it happened twice. That was heard yesterday. This from the armed woman who rammed a law enforcement vehicle, armed with a semi-automatic weapon, law enforcement forced to fire defensive shots. She drove herself to the hospital to get care for her wounds. The armed woman was named in a CBP intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting online, quote, "Hey to all my gang, let's F those MFers up. Don't let them take anyone in." No evidence that anybody's targeting federal law enforcement officers. For more on all this, pleased to be joined by State Representative LaShawn Ford. He's also a candidate for Congress in Illinois' 7th Congressional District to replace the retiring Danny Davis. LaShawn, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here to hear the perspectives on all sides.
All right. Well, give us your perspective on what transpired this weekend and what you think of, in particular, the National Guardsmen, Illinois National Guardsmen being activated, 300 of them. Mainly, it seems evident to protect the backsides of ICE agents who aren't going to get those backsides protected by Chicago police, as we saw this weekend.
I think that we just saw somewhere in another state, somewhere else, I don't know if it was in Portland, that it's unconstitutional to send troops to a city, to a state.
That is one federal judge in Oregon who blocked the deployment of National Guard there for now. But of course, that's not the end of the litigation.
Right. I'm just saying, I think that we have spoken loudly and clearly that the type of activity that's happening in Chicago is sometimes inhumane. And when you look at what's happening on either side of it, you have to ask yourself, how would you want to be treated? How would you want your family to be treated? There's always a right and a wrong way to do things. And even our Chicago police are being put in situations and being put in harm's way and being harmed while the federal agents are coming in doing their duty.
Well,
So
I guess
questionable.
I guess the predicate question would be: do you think it is right and proper for ICE agents to enforce federal immigration law and remove people who are here illegally, particularly those that pose public safety threats?
Well, the problem is if they were really targeting only, I mean, we're talking about the federal government that has the intel on everybody that's in this country. So they know who they are, they know where they're at, but how do you find people that are Americans being attacked by these ICE agents and being detained? That's a problem.
Oh, okay, but my question was, should ICE be here enforcing federal immigration law, though? Yes or no?
Well, I think that everyone wants us to get the criminals out, and
I don't think everyone does.
Well, I want the criminals that are causing problems in our city, in our state, to be removed from our city and our state.
Okay.
But I think that it's clear that the state police, the Chicago police, and the Cook County Sheriff would actually help serve those warrants and help pick those people up. And so we don't see that, and it's been causing a little problem.
Well, the local police won't do any of that because that's what a sanctuary city, county, state is all about. The local police are not going to aid and abet federal law enforcement enforcing immigration law in any way, shape, or form. And we saw that this weekend when the police backup that was called for was called off. There was a stand down order given to police that were responding to federal law enforcement officers that were under siege. So you're not getting any cooperation by law enforcement and that local law enforcement, and that's at the behest of the political leadership of Brandon Johnson, Preckwinkle, Pritzker, your party at the state level. That's what's happening, isn't it?
Well, I know from conversations that the governor has had and the mayor, no one said that they did not want to get those violent criminals out of our city.
Yeah, but they're not allowing federal local law enforcement to cooperate with the feds under any circumstances.
Well, I think that if the federal government really wanted to cooperate, I think that it makes sense that you come in and tell the local police, look, we have people that we need to help get out of your city. I just don't know how we think that it's right to just have someone come into a city and a state and cause problems even for our local police. I've seen our local police under stress.
Well, who's causing the problem? Is it the people that are attacking ICE officers, or is it the ICE officers? Who's the problem?
I'm not going to point the finger, but I know that this situation that's going on, it should be corrected, and it should be directed at the criminals and American citizens and people that are in this country that's not causing problems. Should not be attacked by this situation. And we see it. You talk about collateral consequences. I mean, we have a federal government, as I said, that actually have the ability to do surgical removals, but that's not happening.
Well, I mean, it's not quite as easy. Well, first of all, it's not quite as easy as I think you're saying it is, given the number of people that were allowed into this country over the last 4 years, the previous administration. And we don't know who they're. I mean, look, they're looking for more than 100,000 unaccompanied minors. They found almost 30,000 of the between 100 and 200,000. They don't even know. And, I don't know that it's as easy as you think when you're talking about the volume of people we're talking about spread across this country, number one. And number two, the people, so people who are here illegally, who are caught up when ICE agents are looking for somebody who's here illegally and a public safety threat, because they only broke the law of being here illegally, that ICE should leave them alone. They're sort of granted immunity from law enforcement because they haven't committed an additional crime in addition to being here illegally. Is that your view?
Well, now you're talking about doing something with our immigration policy. This is not an immigration procedure. This is a criminal attack. Or I would not say a criminal attack, but this is a surgical removal of people. It's not dealing with the immigration problem. So my thought is, if we wanted to be in the fight to remove criminals, I believe that the governor and the mayor would support that.
But there's no. I mean, there's explicit evidence that they wouldn't support that because they've said they wouldn't support it. They want. He went to ICE out. They said they want ICE out of Chicago. How much clearer can you be?
Well, the police, Chicago police, want ICE out of Chicago.
Oh, I don't know about that.
People in Broadview want ICE out of Chicago. This is causing havoc on our businesses. This is causing havoc on communities. It's causing havoc on our city.
So lawlessness is stability, but law enforcement is havoc.
All for getting rid of the people that are bringing drugs into our community, that's causing problems in our community. I could say that over and over.
But not the people that are just here illegally. Not those people.
Look, we have a problem in this country with immigration. And so when I hear the president speak, he speaks about he's coming to get criminals. He didn't say that I'm coming to get people that are here on visas. Well, that's not what he's saying. And I'm seeing people that are here on visas, college students that's under attack, under siege. I see working families that have the right to be here based on their papers under siege.
No,
and that's the problem.
Well, they're not being attacked unless those visas are expired and they're in violation.
No. There are some that have called my office that are here legally with their papers that have been detained.
Okay.
And now what happens, they have to get a lawyer, they have to fight to prove their points, and they disrupt the whole family.
Okay, so let's stipulate that people that are here legally should be allowed to stay. Okay, people that are here not legally, should they be allowed to stay?
I think we have an immigration problem in this country, and I think we need to fix it. And what I'm saying, the president's message has to be clear. If his message is, I'm coming to get every person that's here illegally, then say that. And make sure that the message is clear. But he's telling us that his fight is to get the people that are dangerous to America out. And what we're seeing children being taken out of schools. We're seeing children being ripped away from their families.
What schools? What schools have children been taken out of in Chicago?
You know, I don't have the school names, but children are being taken away from their families, and working men and women are being taken away from their families.
Well, I mean, just a point of order.
I'm all for it. I'm all for removing people that cause problems in our communities.
Well, just a point of order. I mean, Tom Homan, if he said it once, he said it 1,000 times. That look, when we're doing operations in neighborhoods that we're being compelled to do in sanctuary states because they won't cooperate, we can't do anything at the jails because they won't cooperate, which would be easier and safer for everybody. But if we're doing operations in the community and we run across somebody who is here illegally, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. We're not going to turn a blind eye to that because that's enforcement of the law. And if you want people that are here illegally to be able to stay if they've committed no other crime than being here illegally, then change the law. And until you change the law at the federal level, my job is to enforce the federal law, and that's the federal law, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what they're doing. So it is actually pretty clear.
Well, I think that it's not clear from the president's message. His message is not that. Now, you are clear. And I think that if that was the message, then I think more people understand. But what I see is people not being allowed the right to protest peacefully, and they're being treated in a way that's un-American, and that's not right. And I think that we need to do everything that we can to cease fire in this city and make sure that we allow people to protest peacefully. Tear gassing, even our police are being targeted. What do we say about that?
All right, LaShawn, you get the last word. State Representative LaShawn Ford, Illinois State Rep for the 8th District, and candidate to replace Danny Davis for Illinois 7 in Congress. Thank you, LaShawn Ford. As always, we appreciate it. He joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Business owners, now's the time for your business to make the move to a locally owned business bank. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that you don't have to